Hello and welcome to another episode of the Drive-In Midnight Special. Tonight's film is somewhat of a cult classic. When it first came out, the response was, well, less than glowing. But over the years, comic book fans, science fiction fans have warmed up to this film over the years and given it the status of cult classic. If you like films about the apocalypse and mutant kangaroo super soldiers and chicks who drive around in tanks, then this is the film for you. This is Tank Girl. So, some of the things that you might need to know when it comes to Tank Girl is that the film is based on a comic book. And at times during the film, it will flash back to moments of visualing from the comics. At least I believe they're from the comics. I'm gonna be honest, I have not read the Tank Girl comic book line, so I cannot say if this is rather faithful or not. But what I can actually say is I rather found this film was rather entertaining. At times, I will say at times that the film is disjointed, and it felt like, okay, it feels like at times like something's missing here. Like some things were, like sometimes characters are going here, and then suddenly say, what's going on here? I thought we were supposed to be here, and then suddenly like, we're here now. But that's what I mean by that. Basically the whole gist of the idea of Tank Girl is a woman named Rebecca, and she is trying to rescue a friend from the evil clutches of water and power. Also, the evil bad guy known as Kessler, played by Malcom McDowell. Oh, and Lori Petty plays Rebecca. Oh, and Naomi Watts also played Jen. And I gotta say, from the acting, I actually gotta say it is rather good. It's not Oscar-worthy, but the actors seem to be having the actors in the film seem to be having fun. Yeah, I gotta say that's what they're having fun with. I mean, the acting is rather silly. The actors playing the Rippers are all rather, they seem to be just hamming up or having fun with it. Especially Ice-T. He seems to be having a lot of fun. Either he's having this way, or perhaps that's just the makeup on him. So yeah, I forgot to mention like I said previously, there's the idea of mutant kangaroo super soldiers. In their film, they're known as the Rippers. And, well, the reason they're called Rippers is because they're able to rip you apart. And, yeah. One of the things about this film was that the film was inspired by the Mad Max films. In this case, The Road Warrior. And I can see that at times. In this case, that there's like a lot of moments where you're having shots of the desert, you're having a lot of wide shots of the characters walking, running, or you're having shots of, say, the bad guys, or at times night vision. I gotta say, one of the things that I will say that had gotten kind of my nerves at times was, well, here's the thing. At times, the film is rated R. That sometimes, like, one of the moments I thought, okay, yes. There is a moment where the villain played by Malcom McDowell, he does the first kill, which is he takes I'm not sure what it is. It's sort of like a water drainer. He puts in someone's back and then it drains the water from their body. And I gotta say that was an interesting kill. He does it 2 times in the film. However, like at the end of the film, that's his death sequence. However, instead of showing it, they decide to use like a drawing of it using the comic book style. And I'd say that is kind of rather interesting. However, I feel like that is kind of a bit of a cop-out in the fact that, okay, you've shown it with these other characters, yet you don't show it the villain. But at the same time, I feel like it was kind of neat the fact that they just have a moment where it goes, like where it's a bit of, where it has a bit of the comic book aspect, and then suddenly it's going to say, oh, and suddenly, boom! That was actually kind of, I think it's kind of clever, even though I would have much preferred actually seeing the death scene involving the actor, like it was previously done at the beginning of the film. But, I mean, one thing that I have learned, though, is that, well, not learned, but I'm going to take a gander of a guess and say that the reason that there's a lot more use of the comic book animation at times is that I'm going to take a gander of a guess and say that it was a lot easier to do that instead of at times using, like, say, oh no, here's the tank rolling down the desert. That was probably easier to draw and animate it, like, say, characters getting in the tank the first time, instead of just, like, say, actually getting into it, because if I, like, say, oh no, but to make it more of a visual flair, which, as well, actually kind of works. And so yeah, I guess that's what reason why there is a lot of use of the comic book animation in the film. Another aspect the film does is that it has become quite popular with the LGBT community. The film has actually become quite popular with the LGBT community. And I actually can see why, especially with the film's elaborate use of costumes. And I also gotta say the film has a wicked sense of humor. And I will say at times, I gotta say it's like one of the reasons I'd say it's probably become popular with the community is because of, I guess it's just become popular with it. I mean, I don't want to just say it's just become popular because I would probably say that the reason the film's become popular with the community is the fact that probably a lot of the costumes, the acting, probably one of the, there is like actually a moment in the film which has a song and dance. I gotta say, even if you aren't the biggest fan of, like, say, dance sequences in films, I gotta say this one's actually very entertaining, and I gotta say I like the costumes. I like the way this sequence is. It's just fun. I mean, just look at this. What can I else gonna say? It's fun. I mean, yeah. So, one of the film things that the film also had done was that it had caused a lot of people to want to cosplay as the character, and I can actually kind of see that because the character's actually pretty kind of fun. It's basically in a version of Harley Quinn before Harley Quinn, and yeah, I gotta say probably one of the moments that probably a lot of women are probably going to do the cosplay for is probably when she has the rocket bra, probably. Because actually, that's actually kind of a cool idea. It's probably something that, like, say, Lady Gaga or Madonna would have probably done. And most recently in the film is that Margaret Robbie, who also ironically has played as Harley Quinn for the DC and Warner Brothers. She is supposedly rebooting the film in the future. And I gotta say, I think that would be kind of interesting. I feel like it would actually kind of work. However, if they did it, I kind of think if they're gonna do it, have the violence, I'd say. Because it feels like the film was trying to be violent, even though it was an R rating, but I feel like it could have gone a bit further. But that's just what I think. But what do you guys say? Do you think this film is good, bad? Do you enjoy it? Have you actually seen Tank Girl? I actually kind of recommend it. But don't forget to get a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that great stuff. And most of all, keep your drinks cold. Make sure you get all that butter and popcorn. And as always, keep your eyes on the screen. I'll see you next time.